Good evening, Monrovia.
Central Avenue begin to dry up.
Okay, what happens? I'd like to ask everyone to rise for singing of America the Beautiful. We ask that you remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Welcome to the 2000 commencement ceremony. It is indeed a great honor to welcome all staff, our students, our families, our friends, to share in the celebration with our students in the graduating class of 2000. Listen carefully, class of 2000, for the sounds you hear tonight will last you a lifetime. Store them up and save them in your hearts, for they are priceless. Each sound is a reminder of something you've gained here while at Monrovia High School. Pay attention, so when you hear them later in life, you will remember. Please join me in welcoming our distinguished guests, for their presence here tonight is a testament to their caring and commitment to our school and our students. Let me introduce Dr. Louise Taylor, our superintendent. Mrs. Yolanda Gallardo, our President of the Board of Education. Mr. Roger Graziani, Vice President, Board of Education. Dr. Bruce Carter, Clerk of the Board. Mrs. Francie Cash, Member of the Board. And Mrs. Betty Sanford, Member of the Board. I want to also express my thanks and appreciation to our staff, whose hard work every day prepares our students to accept and embrace the challenges of the future. A special thank you to my administrative staff, Ms. Calabrese, Ms. Delatorre, and Mr. Hare. But perhaps the greatest thanks and appreciation should go to the parents. They too have been educated by the process of your growing up. They have understood the parent's dilemma of teaching you to be independent while knowing that you might get hurt. They have lived long with the contradiction of protecting you while at the same time assisting you in every way to take flight. I want to extend my deepest gratitude to the parents for sharing your children with us these past 4 years. I hope all of you graduates would join me in thanking and congratulating your family, friends, and all the supporting figures in your lives. And now to the graduates of the class of 2000. It is you that we honor and celebrate your accomplishments of the past 4 years. You are the class of 2000, the first class of the 21st century. As you continue your lifelong learning process, as you find your path and follow your dream, as you dare mighty things and win glorious triumphs, remember that you are not alone in this life pursuit, and that no one accomplishes much alone. Just as family and friends have lifted you up and supported you in this great accomplishment, you have a responsibility to reach out and help others, to reach down and lift others up. As a great opportunity lies ahead of you, so also does responsibility. Do not assume that someone else will take care of the business at hand. Do not assume that someone else will stand up for what is right, that someone else will run for office, that someone else will teach our children, that someone else will care for the poor and homeless, and that someone else will enforce the law, and that someone else will protect our environment. You must never forget that what you do not value will not be valued, and what you do not change will not be changed, and that what you do not do will not be done. Your success will be measured not just by what you have done for yourself, but by who and how many you touch. Finally, I would like to leave you with some thoughts from John Wooden, the legendary UCLA basketball coach. He describes 9 promises that may bring you happiness. Please think of these. Promise yourself that you will talk health, happiness, and prosperity as often as possible. Promise yourself to make all your friends know there is something in them that is special and that you value. Promise to think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best of yourself and others. Promise to be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. Promise to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to greater achievements of the future. Promise to wear a cheerful appearance at all times and give every person you meet a smile. Promise to give so much time to improving yourself that you have no time to criticize others. Promise to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit trouble to press on you. Class of 2000, you have left your mark on Monrovia High School. Now it is your turn to do the same to the world. So as you set out on different paths, listen carefully to the sounds of the evening. They are your link to the past, and they are your key to the future. Thank you. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our valedictorian for the class of 2000, Daniel Mack.
Thank you, Mr. Clegg. Good evening, parents, friends, and graduates of the class of 2000. Perhaps you've heard of the recent generation referred to by letters. The previous generation was the infamous Generation X, one without direction. And now, our generation is known by the fourth letter in the alphabet, the letter D. It wasn't until recently that I was told we were called Generation D because we're the first digital generation. We have grown up with the television, the computer, the internet, among a variety of other things. However, another few names that I've heard referring to our age is that our age is the information age, the age of the technological revolution, and the advent of the digital age. With all these things that are happening around us, the people who assign names to each successive generation have conveniently forgotten about the people that make up Generation D. Our generation is the first generation that has been constantly surrounded and deluged with information from all sides. This information revolution has led to newspapers covering more information daily than was learned 1,000 years ago by one person in his or her entire lifetime. All this information is at our fingertips. We are supposed to have more access to information than ever before. It has often been predicted that ultimately, information will one day be the deciding factor in winning wars. Our age has been the age where information and knowledge have become the currency and the item by which our success will be measured. Although I maintain that knowledge is necessary and useful, it's not the only thing that is needed. Passing tests and doing well in the classroom ultimately tests your knowledge, but the world will test your wisdom. Wisdom is the one thing that will ultimately define who you are. Wisdom will define your personality, and personality will define this generation. Personality is one of the main things that the namers of our generation forgot. They forgot that each member of this generation is an individual, and each person will set his or her own path. Although our time may be characterized by information and by digital technology, our generation is made up of individual people. Knowledge without wisdom is ultimately useless. However, once wisdom is developed, information can be used to help define ourselves. Wisdom is the one aspect that people will be able to use to define who you are. Your choices and your responsibilities will ultimately define you. Choices and your reactions will be the defining element of your personality. And each individual will define this age. As we prepare to enter the new millennium, I challenge you to define this digital age as you see fit, to shape this world into your own. I challenge you to step out into this world with your high school diplomas proudly in hand and take on the world that has conveniently grouped us under one letter. I challenge you to expand that definition from one letter to several words. I challenge you to define yourself through the years. Ultimately, as Mr. Dawes has so conveniently put it to me, I challenge you not to exist as advisors, but to become teachers, ones who will be able to shape and leave an influence upon the following generations. As we step out into this world full of possibilities, I challenge you to make the most of your time on this earth and to not be forgotten, to not be nameless figures who are just another part of a generation defined by one letter. And here's your salutatorian, Kendra Kagawa.
Mr. Clegg, members of the board, family and friends, and the class of 2000. I did not know what I had until 3 days ago. No, I'm not talking about being salutatorian, because this thing is even bigger than any title one can be given. And this thing is time. Right now, this night, this very moment. And what you do with this moment, at this moment, is almost entirely to you. You can choose to use it to the best of your ability and knowledge, or you can throw it away. And once this moment has passed, it cannot be retrieved. Unfortunately, life is not a video one can stop and rewind at any time. It goes on through our mistakes and our accomplishments, filled with regrets, but bringing a hope for another chance at the next moment. And every new moment is a chance for us to learn about others and ourselves. And every moment is a time to change, for time is constantly changing. It changes who we are and who we may someday become. Take a look back on freshman year. We are not the same people then, and in 10 years, we will not be the same people we are tonight. Tomorrow, we will go our separate ways, leaving Monrovia High School and this night as only a memory. But now is your chance. Now is your chance to change the world. It is up to you to take it. So, class of 2000, today is June 15th, and whether you believe we are the first class or the last class of this millennium, our time is now. How will you use it? And now, Camerata will sing Seize the Day.
Open the gates and seize the day. Don't be afraid and don't delay. Nothing can break us, no one can make us give our rights away. Rise and seize the day. Now is the time to seize the day.
Now is the time to seize the day.
Send out the call and join the fray.
Send out the call and join the fray.
Wrongs will be righted if we're united. Let us seize the day. Friends of the friendless, seize the day.
Friends of the friendless, seize the day.
Raise up the torch and light the way.
Light the way.
Proud and defiant, we'll slay the giant. Let us seize the day. Neighbor to neighbor, father to son, one for all and all for one. Open the gates and seize the day. Don't be afraid and don't delay. Nothing can break us, no one can make us give our rights away. Neighbor to neighbor, father to son, one for all and all for one. Neighbor to neighbor, father to son, one for all and all for one. One for all for one.
Good evening. I'm Rona Madrid, and I'm this year's senior class president. It's hard to believe that it's been 4 years since we got on this long, windy path known as high school. This path has changed our lives and the way we view the world. It has given us education, responsibilities, and friends. It has served as a bridge from childhood to adulthood and transformed us into the young adults that we are now. On this path, we started a journey towards the future. Today, we stand at the end of this path, and before us lie the great horizon and 1,000 other paths. But before we take our first step into the future, let us look back on the long, windy path known as high school to see what we have left behind. At first, this path seemed unbearable and endless. We started our long journey holding on to the hands of those we knew from the past. But along the way, we met people who changed our lives forever. New friends were made as old ones were kept or lost. As we walked on this path, we realized that it was easy to get sidetracked and slip off. Although some of us had slipped off this path, many stayed on. And as our journey continued, the class of 2000, also known as the Dub Clique, was slowly created. It was on this path that many of us discovered our true selves and developed hidden talents. This path made us the exceptional scholars, the outstanding athletes, the gifted actors, and the great leaders that we are today. On this path, we've encountered many obstacles as well. Obstacles that sometimes seem too difficult for young adults to overcome. But no matter what, whether it was a challenging class, an impossible exam, a tough opponent, a championship game, an unfriendly peer, a hard decision, or an unexpected mistake, we stayed on this path and became strengthened by those obstacles. High school has certainly introduced us to the best and the worst times of our lives. Times that we wished would never end, times that we wished had never come, times when we gained victory, and times when we tasted defeat, times that made us laugh, and times that made us cry. Now, I'd like to ask you, the class of 2000, as you stand at the end of this path, to look back on it for one last time. Look back on the memories and the people you have met along the way. I bet you didn't notice the footprints that you have left behind, but the people that remain on this path do. You have left your marks for the teachers, the administrators, and for the underclassmen to see. Once we're off this path, they will have only your footprints, and as they look at them, they will remember you. They might remember your smiling faces, your unique personalities, your energetic spirits, your senses of humor, your remarkable talents, and all the other things about you that you chose to make your marks with at this school. And then they will realize that there really is only one you, class of 2000. And your footprints are imprinted not only on this path, but also on the hearts of the people that you leave behind. Tonight, we have reached the end of this path. Before us lie the horizon and 1,000 other paths. Beyond the horizon lies our future. So many paths to get there, but which one do we follow? Well, we are the class of 2000, the leaders of the new millennium. So there really is only one thing for us to do, and that is not to follow any path, but go instead where there are no paths and leave a trail. Good luck, class of 2000. Now will you please rise for the singing of the alma mater? be seated.
It is with great privilege and honor that I take this opportunity to introduce you to our distinguished alumnus of Monrovia High School from the class of 1982, Mr. LaShawn B. Wells, who will deliver our keynote address.
Each person has an ideal, a hope, a dream of some sort, which represents his soul. In the long light of eternity, the seed of the future is all that matters. We must find this seed no matter how small it is. We must give to it the warmth of love, the light of understanding, and the water of encouragement. We must learn to deal with people as they are, not as we wish them to be. We must study the moral values which shape our thinking, arouse our emotions, and guide our conduct. We must put an end to the blind, instinctive, sensory thought and feeling. We must take time to be human. Graduates, it's an honor and a privilege to be here today to share with you your graduation. And as we honor the class of 2000, I would like to first say thank you to Principal Clegg, the entire faculty, some who were even my teachers when I was here, school officials, and family. I would also like to take this time to thank the family and friends and all those people who play the role in the lives of these young people today in helping them reach this milestone. Your tireless service to your graduate, without a doubt, is the key to their success today. So graduates, as I stand here speaking to you, as you ready to part on tomorrow with your high school diploma in your hand and a whole new look on life, let me share with you a principle that if it becomes a habit for you, it will enrich your lives forever. It is a principle that I have developed and tried to live by since I left this very stage some 18 years ago. Graduates, this is the principle of being service-minded. There's a sacred calling on your life, and the question is, how will you spend it? Will you heed the call and create your own path to the highest good? Class of 2000, by being the first graduating class of the new century, you have a special opportunity to change the world through the act of service. And by practicing true service, your impact can be substantial and forever lasting. Don't be afraid of the space between your dreams and reality. If you can dream it, you can make it so. For it is true service that has helped you reach this milestone that you are celebrating today. It is true service from your family, friends, and loved ones that gave you a base. It is true service from community groups, whether that's church, YMCA, that sustain you. It is true service from your teachers, coaches, and principals that educated you. And it's true service from your best friends that supported you. So graduates, I encourage you to never forget the service of those who have helped you. Do not let the service of your family and friends be in vain. Do not let the service of your community group evaporate. And do not let the service of your educators become meaningless education. Do not disappoint the service of your friends by not serving others. Make true service a part of your being. Take time to serve your family. Give back to your community. Teach at your schools and support your friends. So as I close, graduates, I want to say that I realize that what I'm asking you to do is not the norm in our society. Being service is not easy to be. But remember, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. And since my own graduation some 18 years ago, from this very stage, there have been some difficult times that have turned into some great opportunities. The law degree that I have came through the support from people with the service heart. The new house I just bought came through support from people with the service heart. The company I started, the new car I drive, all came through support from people with a service heart. I say these things not to tell of my accomplishments, but simply to give you an example of what you can achieve with a service heart. But more than any of these things is the fact that I can come back to Monrovia as a Wildcat on your special day as a servant for your commencement ceremony with a service heart. Graduates, when we set out on a consciously chosen course of action that accents the good of others and is, for the most part, a hidden work, a deep change occurs in our spirits. Parents, family, friends, faculty, and staff, and most of all, graduating class of 2000. True service comes from a relationship with a divine other deep inside, so serve out of quiet promptings. True service finds it almost impossible to distinguish from the large and small service. True service rests contented in the quietness. It does not fear the lights and blare of attention, but it does not seek them either. True service is free of the need to calculate results. It delights only in the service. It can serve enemies freely as well as friends. True service is indiscriminate in its application. True service ministers simply and faithfully because there's a need. It knows that the feeling to serve can often be a hindrance to true service. True service can withhold the service as freely as perform it. It can listen with tenderness and patience before acting. It can serve by waiting in silence. True service builds communities. True service is a lifestyle, graduates. It acts from ingrained patterns of living. It springs spontaneously to meet human needs. So as you go out and attack the world with zest, have a service heart. As I close, I'd like to leave you with this analogy. You may not know this, maybe you've learned it in school, but birds eat up to 3 times their body weight daily. And elephants, well, they usually discard theirs by the part that they intake daily by spreading it out all over the world. So as this relates to gaining information to conduct the service I talked about today, I'm going to leave you the words of Guy Kawasaki, co-founder of Apple Computer. And I challenge you to do this. Eat like a bird and poop like an elephant. Graduates, I wish you a future of prosperous results filled with a desire to have a servant heart. Thank you.
Now with the Superintendent, Dr. Louise Taylor, we present the Class of 2000 to the Board of Education.
Congratulations to the Class of 2000. Your future is truly your sole responsibility. Our future, the future of your parents, your siblings, Monrovia, the state of California, this nation, and most definitely the world, is now your responsibility. For you see, in you, we hope to find the first woman president, a cure for AIDS, the cancers that are out there, an end to drugs and violence. Those responsibilities we charge to you, the Class of 2000, the future for the next century. I gladly accept the Class of 2000 on behalf of the Board of Education for graduation.
Alexandra Louise Correa, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
N. Chandler, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Randall Lauren Jukes, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Matthew Scott Danes, Gold Seal graduate.
Jessica Fairfield, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Doina Dodden, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Robert Glenn Kaufman, Gold Sealed graduate.
Seth Lewis, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Kendra I. Kagawa, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Ying Hong, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Lawrence Paul Miscavige, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Daniel Mack, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Eliza Roxy Marie Terrell, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Rona Joyce Madrid, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Maninder Singh, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
George Neriwong, Gold Seal graduate.
Sarah Jean Trujillo, Gold Sealed graduate.
Lene Patrice Willis, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Joseph Michael Thomas, Gold Sealed graduate.
Lucas George Swan, Gold Seal graduate.
Cristo Sia, Blue and Gold Sealed graduate.
Shauna Yetka, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Walter Valdez, Gold Sealed graduate.
Brooke Wyad, Gold and Blue Seal graduate.
Joy Esther Brousseau, Blue Seal graduate.
Dieta Daly, Blue Seal graduate.
Sean Ripley, Blue and Thespian Honor graduate.
Robert Kent Cornwall, Blue Seal graduate.
Amy Danielle Derringer, Blue Seal graduate.
Kerry Sean Murphy, Blue Seal graduate.
Ben Wallace, Blue Seal graduate.
Christopher Amarine.
Renee Erica Acosta.
Megan Rounds, Blue Seal graduate.
Javier Andrade.
Daniel Arbery.
Janice Azalog.
Amy Allen.
Oscar Artiega.
Justin Estango.
Rochelle Kate Anderson.
Nancy Alvarado.
Humberto Avalos.
Carlos Avina.
Desiree Joy Archilla.
Anna Marie Andrade.
Jason Ballou.
Sebastian Abraham Bach.
Juan Benuelos.
Kristen Rachel Amijo.
Joanna Basua.
Jeremy Ballou.
Oscar Batista.
Veronica Elizabeth Farias.
Tammy Angelique Bautista.
Sean Bannister.
Aaron Beck.
Nino Nicole Batiste.
Martha Mireya Cabadas.
Brandon Bateson.
Benjamin Benitez.
Sarah Bender.
Leticia Carbajal.
Eric Benden.
Joseph Bem.
Luz Angelica Campos.
Amanda Carter.
James Albert Black Jr.
Julian Brown.
Whitney Page Castellan.
Demetria Sarah Chisholm Lester.
Stephen Boykins.
Michael James Brown.
Tonica Monique Cheney.
Curtis Burnett III.
Anthony Brown.
Teresa Marie Cooper.
Naftali Bryant.
Jason Andrew Carnine.
Lauren Nicole Kodishi.
Corrine Cruz.
Mitchell Wade Butler.
Jason Carter.
Jenna Paloma Cordova Kelly.
Eva Del Real.
Greg Campbell.
Michael Castillo.
Katie Marie Creekmer.
Juana Delgado.
Jesus Carrillo.
Donald Colbert.
Casey Cullinane.
Ludmila Dovgun.
Albert Chin.
George Codivar.
Jacqueline Diaz.
Alexis España.
Jeffrey Churchill.
Omar Cordero.
Summer Eno.
Lorena Espinoza.
Stephen Conklin.
Aretha Fenig.
Johnny Cordova.
Adi Jafedovich.
Farah Fakufar.
Ashley Flatus.
Michael Curry.
Jorge De Anda.
Michelle Roslyn Fernandez.
Kalinda Franklin.
Eric Leaf Davis.
Sergio De La Huera.
Brianna Lee Flores.
Rachel Frost.
Dexter De La Rosa.
Jonathan DeBrick.
Ursula Freeman.
Nerieda Garcia.
Jose De La Roca.
Russo Dunbar.
Lupe Gallegos.
Denise Garcia.
Sean Michael Dollins.
Stephen Ford.
Colleen Garcia.
Xiomara Gonzalez.
Devin Dyson.
Enrique Garcia.
Yesenia Gastelum.
Bianca Goyet.
Darrow Fisher.
Christopher Gordon.
Tiffany Faith Goldsmith.
Irvins Gorg.
Martin Galindo.
Alejandro Hernandez.
Kristen Ann Gomez.
James Granados.
Antonio Jesus Gonzalez.
Wendy Hill.
Shander Green.
Marcus Griffin.
Jesus Antonio Gonzalez.
Dallas Holmes.
Sarah Rebecca Aralda.
Joseph Hayward.
David Charles Graham.
Sarah Indermill.
Maite Hernandez.
Eduardo Herrera.
Travis Gray.
Lourdes Jaimes.
Janet Margarita Ibarra.
Cody Hoover.
Michael Haro.
Corey Lewis Johnson.
Juan Hernandez.
Jose Huerta.
Johnny Isaguirre.
Carrie Amber Danielle King.
Teresa Ann Jimenez.
Michael Jackson.
Sean Christian Holden.
Gina LeCount.
Rolinda Callie.
Wesley Johnson.
Robert Hoskinson.
Yang Lee.
Kelly Lawler.
Floyd Jones.
Jeffrey James.
Alejandra Llamas.
Fabiola Leon.
Ricky Marie Lopez.
Matthew Claude Johnson.
Larry Keeler.
Brittany Raylene Lewis.
Claudia Luna.
Juan Juarez.
Jeffrey Kepner.
Karina Lopez.
Darlene Macias.
Andrew Kostaklis.
Nick Kramer.
Vanessa Lujan.
Janelle Markey.
Cody Kennedy.
Robert Lapointe.
Lucia Luna.
Esperanza Martinez.
John Quintanar.
Jonathan Lesueur.
Melissa Macias.
Crystal Maxwell.
Gregory Lewis.
Lorenzo Lopez.
Monique Martin.
Mandy McGlone.
Octavio Lopez.
Daniel Ludd.
Lazarita Martinez.
LaShonda McHenry.
Jessica Lauren McCabe.
Mike Marshall.
Shannon Marie McCown.
Melissa McIntosh.
Megan Marie McIntyre.
Jesse Miller.
Jared Ray Martinez.
Kevin Joseph Mayer.
Ashley Merritt.
Veronica Natividad.
Brandon Wade Matney.
Brian Mead.
Michelle Elizabeth Moore.
Jacqueline Ness.
Anthony David McCormick.
Robert Medina.
Monique Elizabeth Navarro.
Sonia Orozco.
Jose Cantillano Medina.
Michael Miller.
April Navarez.
Ashley Colleen Pfister.
Gama Mitchell.
Mario Mora.
Jaylene Mahe Alani Pena.
Jill Christina Pink.
Bryce Quintel Moore.
Troy Naranjo.
Nicole Ann Pete Limbos.
Cecilia Prado.
Sabrina Andrea Porche.
Julio Parada.
Leo Norishkarian.
Susan Quisenberry.
Laura Puidoc.
Douglas Perez.
Starlin Rex Oldacre III.
Alma Ramirez.
Gianna Marie Rales.
Peter Perez.
Nathan Penn.
Natalie Renee Ramos.
Virginia Ramirez.
Jeffrey Peters.
Christopher Peters.
Natalie Reza.
Christina Marie Regan.
Andrew Posen.
Kenneth Porcher.
Sarah Riley.
Monica Sue Richter.
Kenneth Pulliam.
Calvin Pratt Jr.
Jasenia Rodriguez.
Maria Elba Rincon.
Mario Ramirez.
Gerardo Quitos.
Juliana Romo.
Sarah Rodriguez.
Christopher Ramirez.
Rudy Ramirez.
Brittany Salazar.
Brenda Ariana Rubio.
Anthony Reyes.
Julius Randall II.
Nora Schneider.
You know the answer to that.
Rebecca Lynn Schlagater.
Jonathan Robles.
David Roberts.
Christine Smallwood.
Natalie Therese Soder.
Johnny Salinas.
Sergio Rodriguez.
Dominique Angela Stelly.
Rachel Stevens.
Adam Sanwald.
Daniel Sandoval.
Lawrence Sloan.
Kimberly Stump.
Colleen Thomas.
Matthew Sawyer.
Nick Smith.
Victor Sayeg.
Andrea Nicole Thorpe.
Sarah Lee Thomas.
Rachel Tress.
Matthew Smith.
Zach Stamps.
Krista Doreen Watty.
Kara Waugh.
Yes to the first no.
Daniel Stuvey.
Dustin James Tobin.
Heidi Johanna Villanueva.
Shatika Wilson.
Richard Spicer Jr.
Alberto Vilene.
Shanika Williams.
Fanny Young.
Adam Thorpe.
Jerry Warren.
Veronica Ibarra.
Anna Zelaya.
Jeff Tovar.
Thomas Wheeler.
Christian Valen.
JQ Jong.
Chayawat Yadmini. Jeff Russell Wallace. Stephen Michael Watkins. Stephen Whistler. Sean White.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor and a privilege that I present the Monrovia High School Class of 2000. Ladies and gentlemen, also I would request that you remain seated until all the graduates have recessed out.